Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your number one source for all things films and movies. And after months and months of speculating, looking into rumors, looking into verified leaks, looking at other articles and news outlets reporting on these rumors and leaks that the new Spider-Man movie would be starring former actors like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, we got an official announcement from Tom Holland himself stating that these were just rumors and that unless there's something going on that he doesn't know about, he will be the only Spider-Man starring in this upcoming film. So this will officially kind of squash and put an end to the widespread speculation and rumors that have been going crazy for months. Or will it actually? And is Tom Holland a valid source of information to firmly state we won't be seeing these two actors return in the future? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this and look at all of the possibilities and what we're facing with this announcement from Tom Holland. In an interview with Esquire magazine, Tom Holland tried to kind of put an end to a lot of the rumors speculating some actors returning. And when he was questioned as to whether or not Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would be joining up in this new Spider-Man movie, he quote unquote said, no, they will not be appearing in this film. Then he went on to say, unless they have hidden the most massive piece of information from me, which I think is too big of a secret for them to keep from me. But as of yet, no. So with that, as of yet, we don't have any official confirmation or any official reason to fully believe all of the rumors, leaks, and everything else that was massively spread online over the past few months to suggest Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be on board with this film. However, it still hasn't stopped some die-hard fans of this possibility for a movie to at least look at the general context and the track record that Tom Holland has when it comes to what is going on with this film. Now, of course, this wouldn't be the first time we've seen an actor deny things that ended up actually coming true in the movie, or deny things and stuff resurfaces again later. And mind you, we do have pretty solid confirmation that at the very least in this upcoming Spider-Man film, we will be seeing Jamie Foxx reprise his role as Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2, and we will likely see Alfred Molina reprising his role as Dr. Octopus from the Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 as well. Now, interestingly enough though, we do know that in the production of Marvel films, a lot of the times the actors are, for the most part, only given some level of extent as to what scenes they're going to be filming. For instance, we did hear Tom Holland speak in multiple interviews that when he was getting ready to film the funeral scene in Avengers Endgame, he was under the impression for the longest time that it was a wedding. And sometimes he has said in other interviews that when he's reading through the script, he believes that they're trying to trick him, or they give him a fake script to throw him off to make sure that there aren't leaks that are integral to the story. Now, something like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield though is a pretty massive thing, because it does have to involve how the cast will be billed and who is going to be the front runner of a movie. And with something like this and Tom Holland, it is interesting that if they were secretly keeping them in the film, them not telling him would be incredibly odd. But at the same time, Tom Holland also said in this interview, and we're going to quote this here, where he said, I honestly have no idea what this film is about, and I'm 8 weeks into shooting it. And he kind of did this half joke about being left in the dark, but it does make us question a lot of other things if we're going to look closely into this interview and try to read between the lines. Now, of course, Tom Holland does have a strict non-disclosure agreement with Disney, with Marvel, with Sony, where he can't just explicitly tell people what's going on. And he really has to dance around a lot of questions in general, but it is kind of interesting how once they started to pry a little bit, he talks about how he doesn't know anything that is truly going on, which does somewhat contradict what he said in a recent interview just a couple of days ago. Now, he said in an interview on the Varieties Award Circuit podcast that, and I quote, I can say that it's the most ambitious standalone superhero movie ever made. You sit down and you read the script and you see what they're trying to do, and they are succeeding. It's really impressive. I've never seen a standalone superhero movie quite like it. And I'm just, again, that lucky little shit who happens to be Spider-Man in it. I'm just as excited as everyone else to see it, let alone be a part of it. Also, during this podcast, just days ago when he was asked if the casting rumors were true, he said, "Beats me, I don't know. If they are, they never told me yet." So, it does also seem like this could be the potential of Tom Holland just kind of doing the "I don't know anything" type of answer, which he's done in the past, which is a fair way to approach these questions where he really can't reveal things. However, the way that maybe the more recent interview was worded maybe has different sources and different places going haywire with all of these headline articles, when really maybe Tom Holland's stance has never changed in the first place, and this is the same thing that he said in most interviews when approached with this question. We still don't know for certain. So right away, we're looking at two massive different statements when we're looking between what was said a few days ago and what we see now. Just now we see Tom Holland saying he has no idea what is happening in the film 8 weeks into filming, but then a couple of days back he said that he was reading the script and he was really surprised with how ambitious the new Spider-Man movie was turning out to be. There are a lot of other massive questions that are still into play as to what will be going on in this film or what the plot plan is, just based off of the things that had been announced, like the fact we are still seeing characters from these other Spider-Man universes show up in one way or another. We do know that Andrew Garfield was in Atlanta, Georgia during the time where they are filming Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man Homecoming 3. Though that doesn't necessarily confirm anything, it just seems like a very specific coincidence. And we do know from a while back that a fourth film is also in development alongside the third film. Now, whether or not filming will in fact take place back to back alongside Spider-Man 3 is something that is still being questioned, though some people have considered that as a possibility and something that Sony might be planning on doing. Though with the state of how the film industry is, it could also be something pushed back later on. However, in that recent interview, Tom Holland says that he's only been filming for 8 weeks. And if we look at the timeline, with filming starting all the way back in October of 2020, even with a holiday or some sort of time off for the holidays, it does seem a little bit odd how this timeline would line up, suggesting that Tom Holland really should have been filming for 10 or 11 weeks, unless they're filming main photography stuff without Tom Holland and focusing on other characters for other things like Doctor Strange. Now, this is also ignoring all of those massive rumors that Sony was still negotiating with Tobey Maguire up until the last minute from when he was supposed to allegedly be shooting parts for a film, and then it seemed like those deals did go through. There weren't talks that the deals had fallen through, and prior to that there was speculation as to whether or not Tobey Maguire would be able to make a deal even with Sony to include him. So it does seem really odd that these rumors that were so heavily pushed and so heavily promoted by pretty valid sources with somewhat decent track records does make it seem a bit odd that we are not going to see these two other Spider-Man characters make a return in this new film, unless there is of course a fourth movie being made here and it would tie into some sort of crossover event directly after this third film wraps and then releases, and then maybe sometime later we would see that movie release. Maybe they haven't shot some sort of cameo or scene that would include returning actors like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to set up something bigger in the future. We just are kind of in this space where we don't really know what's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. There were talks that we were going to even be seeing a trailer during the Super Bowl that passed by, and we never got anything like that as well. So it is kind of this weird time where obviously if you were a major fan of this idea and you were banking on this movie to be one of the coolest and most exciting Spider-Man movies, like many fans were, including us, it definitely makes sense to be a little bit disappointed by this confirmation or deconfirmation that these two characters could be returning, though we do think there still is a possibility, and there's so much buzz around these actors returning that maybe it's just something a little bit different than what we had anticipated, or it could just be a fact that Tom Holland is being told by Sony to misdirect the public as to what he knows long enough so that they can kind of solidify some final things that they might be wanting to do, or they want to keep the big reveal of these actors coming back a secret. And it wouldn't be surprising, Tom Holland has had stuff kept in the dark and he could kind of use that again as an excuse, but it is a really unique situation. We're not fully giving up hope that we're going to see these actors make a return in one way or another. We just don't fully know the extent yet with this news coming from Tom Holland directly. It does go against everything that the leaks and rumor mill has been suggesting. You can probably bank on every major comic publication having covered this story of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield possibly returning at some point in the past couple of months, just because of how widespread these rumors were really going, that even though everything's written or in a video form spoken as a form of speculation, it just seems so odd that Sony and Marvel would let the buzz and excitement for this possibility to happen without snuffing it way earlier, way back before filming even started. So it is interesting to see what's going on. Of course, this movie did see a delay. Maybe they want that buzz to kind of hype up again later on this year, and they're holding some stuff back, and then they might rework some stuff and reintroduce it, and it could still happen. But it is just a unique situation. But we're going to continue to cover this, and we're going to still look into new leaks, new rumors, new things that are starting to come out in the next following weeks and days even, that could suggest what is going to be going on with this movie, because now it's even more interesting to see what the plan is and what the end goal is with this film if they're not going to have these actors come back, or if it's a big misdirect. We want to know what the plan is on how they're going to explain it off, or how they're going to tie it into other things. So make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on for more updates just like this, because we're going to be really digging in and trying to figure out fully the best understanding as to what we're going to see in this new movie. But otherwise, that's it for today. We'll see you guys all next time with a brand new video.
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
See you guys.
Know anybody?